looking at stuff today as we go through this than trying to frantically take notes, because I think the muscle memory is going to help you. Okay, you guys, everyone have their file open? Fantastic. Okay. I would like us to get certain classes up and running. So if your navigation window is closed, remember it's Windows, Palettes, Navigation to get that open again. And we want to be on the lighting layer. So if you click up here, I'm already on the lighting layer. I don't know what layer you're defaulted to, probably the lighting layer. Just make sure you're on the lighting layer, which you can also set from navigation. Make sure you're on lighting. And then please make sure that you've got the grid turned on. And I would like you all to be on the class with the check mark next to it, labeled pipes. And can I get a thumbs up when you're there? Okay. So window, palettes, navigation, and then click. If you don't have if you have a check mark next to it, you can't find it, turn it off and turn it back on. It'll bring it to the top. And then when you're in the navigation, we've got the 6 boxes across the top. The first one is classes. The second one is layers. Gotcha? Fantastic. Okay. Yes.
On my laptop, it expired, and it won't let me into Canvas on the Mac.
It won't let you into Canvas?
It says access denied.
Yeah, my iPad has a lot of trouble with Canvas too.
So I can't tell them.
I often did email it to him, but it might be too big for a Gmail drive file. Maybe upload it onto Drive.
That's what I'm going to quickly copy it to a drive for you. Unless Sage gets there first.
What is USIDT practical?
Shoot, I thought that got the delete out of your file. That just needs to go away.
But what is it?
That means that it's a part of the set that lights up.
Okay. Because this is from Mousetrap.
It was left over from Mousetrap. Okay, I'm having trouble copying the file for you. You got it, Sage? Everyone else? Is everyone else there? Okay, great. So while we're waiting for Sage to save the day with Emerson, and by the way, Sage, thank you.
Alright, it's downloaded and I just shared it with him.
Fantastic. Pop into your basic navigation or your basic tools and use your flyover tool and just take a look at the pipes and the grid, and yes, our fantastic Eiffel Tower off in the corner that hasn't been built by the time our show was set. Hooray, okay? But look at that, look at what we've got going on over the stage. Okay? Now, last Friday, you guys helped hang lights, so you are kind of familiar with what's going on up there. And I want us to take a quick look so that we remember how this affects, or how the drawing corresponds with what we saw in reality. So you see we've got these giant rectangles up here. Those are I-beams that we were standing on that had the tension grids stretched between them. And then our smaller gray things like these are our pipes that we hung the lights on, right? We're going to pop back down to a top view. Remember, Command 5 on the Macs will take you right there. Or you can come up here to this drop-down menu and go to Top Plan, whichever makes you happy. So we want to take a look at the pipes. I'm going to start off by saying technically every pipe in this room is movable. They were all installed by Brody and the original PAC staff. What I'm also going to tell you is the pipes that run from top to bottom on your drawing, Brody does not intend to ever allow to move. They are installed in such a way that they are really not movable. Okay? Technically they're movable, they're really not movable. Okay? All of the pipes going from left to right on your screen, however, come on. You're up? Great. Okay. Those are not only movable if you want, you are expected to move them. Okay? I put them in a kind of basic pattern. You could add more. You can get rid of some. You can make some shorter. For the purposes of this class, you can make some longer. If you're actually doing a show in the black box, there are a couple of other considerations and obstructions up there, but for the purposes of this class, you can go ahead and make them longer if you need to. And we want to look at that today. But before we look at how we change that, how we edit that, I want to find out about each of these positions. And we're going to do that with what is called the Object Info Palette. Okay? So it's like all of our other palettes. You can get it by going Window, Palettes, Object Info, if it's not opened. Or if you can't find it because it got buried, close it and reopen it. Okay? And let's take a look at this Object Info Palette. So you can see I have selected one of the pipes. It's orange up on the screen. You can select any pipe you want if you're having trouble selecting it. If you have a 2-button mouse, right-click. If you do not have a 2-button mouse and you're on one of the Macs in this room, hold down Control and then click and select Force Select, and it will help you select the right object. Sometimes when there's a lot of objects on top of each other, Vectorworks doesn't know what you're going for. Force Select, it suddenly gets a brain, okay, and figures it out. Okay, let's look at the object info so we can find out a lot about this. Object info is going to not only tell us about pipes, which we're looking at today, but it's going to eventually tell us about lighting instruments. It can tell us all kinds of information. Okay, hold down Control, and then take your mouse over it and say Force Select. Got it? Excellent. Yep. Everyone good? Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so let's go through, and I want to just go through the Object Info palette top to bottom. The Object Info palette will change somewhat depending on what you've selected because it's information about the object you've selected. Duh. It makes a lot of sense. So first thing, the class. It happens to be on class grid-pipes. That is where I placed it. I think that's a good place for it. But if you do not want it there, click on that. You have a drop down of all of the classes. So if throughout the course of your work this semester you draw something on the wrong class, it's not horrible. Go into Object Info. You can move it wherever you want. Question, Sage?
Yeah, mine closed and I don't remember how to get it back open. I clicked the X on accident.
Oh, Window, Palettes, Object Info. Window palettes is how you're going to find almost everything. Okay, so that's our class. Let's say you drew it on the wrong layer. Heaven forbid. No, it's not a problem because you click on the layer drop down and you have every layer that is an option for you. You can put it on. Okay, and it's very easy to move them around. X, Y, and Z coordinates. That is where it is. Now you may say, wait a second, that is not a single point. That is a big object, right? So every object has an insertion point. And on this object, 14.6, its insertion point is here. No, that's not its insertion point. Its insertion point is here, this dot. And that just tells you where the insertion point is. I could type in a command about where I wanted that to be. However, an easier way if I wanted to move this is while it's selected, click on it and drag it. Come on. Select. Or I'm going to just type in a movement for it. You should be able to click and drag it. I'm going to turn off some extra layers here. Hopefully that will help us. Oh, because it's not on lighting, it's on building. So again, I'm 17'2". So I can move this by typing in, and you saw that it just jumped. By the way, Command Z will undo that. Reach over to guarantee you can move it. Get close to its insertion point, which is the white dot. Well, it's a blue dot at the moment. Blue dot. And if I hover my mouse till I get a crosshairs, I can move it. I generally think the easiest way to place a pipe, left to right, top to bottom on the screen, is to grab it and drag it. What I do think is really important in the object info box is the height of the pipe from the floor. Okay? It is 19 feet 4 inches. Anyone know why it is 19 feet 4 inches? Because that rests the pipe on top of the pipes that run top to bottom on your screen. Okay? So that is actually what it is in the theater. Okay? If, for whatever reason, in your concept, you needed a pipe at another position, another height off the floor, it's probably doable. Okay? We can hang a pipe down. You may have noticed when you were in for Boys Life Hang that there were projectors hung down. That's all possible. Okay? To change the height of a pipe, this is one place where I do not think dragging is helpful. I actually think typing in the measurement is a lot more helpful, and which it allows you to do here. So if I type this in at 10 feet, you may say nothing happened, right? It's because it moved down, which we can't see in this view. But watch as we go into 3D. Look, there it is. It's hanging out down there instead of up top. Okay. I am going to go put that back with Command Z. And we're back at 19 feet 4 inches. Rotation is 13 degrees. I have no idea. It shouldn't be. It should be 0. I'm going to go correct that. Position name, pipe 10. Here's the rule on pipe names. They must be unique. Okay? Other than that, if you want to name your pipes Devin, Bob, Jennifer, I don't care. Okay? Generally in a theater, we do them numerically or alphabetically. You'll see in this theater, I've got them labeled from bottom to top, numbers 1 through 10. Left to right is pipes A through E. Thank you. I remember how many pipes there were. But if you want to name them Barbara Streisand, Lady and Gaga, go for it. Okay? Little toggle button for show name. If I click that, the name goes away. Inconvenient. You want the name there. Okay. Insert position summary. You can choose to do this. This is just going to give you a list next to each pipe of what lights are hung on it. At the moment, there are no lights hung on it. So when I click it, I'm going to get an empty box that says, actually, I may not even get a box. Oh, I do have a box. Here's what's hung on pipe 10. Error number 1. The error is there's nothing hung on it. Okay. I'm going to undo that. I do not find position summaries to be generally very useful. Right. I can just count. Okay. Starting number, leave that at 1. We will talk about that later on in the semester. I just want to show you it's there. Increment, also leave that at 1. We will again talk about that later in the semester. Numbering direction, this will auto number your lights on here when we get there. You can choose top to bottom, bottom to top, right to left, or left to right. Again, as long as you're consistent, totally your choice. Okay. Multi-circuit numbering, we're going to talk about that later this semester. Auto number, I just mentioned this can auto number lighting instruments when it's on there. Here's how you auto number. You click the button that says auto number. I know, okay? Label.
The pipe you're selected is shorter than pipe 9 and 8. Like how come pipe 9?
It's not shorter, it's not lined up with it.
Oh,
Look at that.
I was like, I don't know if that's anything.
So, but you have actually brought us to a very good topic for discussion. Let me get through the rest of these, and then we're going to move on with Sage's suggestion. She wants to know how to change the length of the pipes. So, okay. Label position. Let me turn the label back on. You can type in label position here, or honestly, when you're selected, if I hover over the word pipe 10, oh, that's grabbing the whole thing. You need to get it. See how it's not an X anymore? It's just a slash. Now I move just the name. I generally don't know why you'd want to. The pipe name right at the end of the pipe seems to be the most convenient place for it. But it shows you can move it. You can also type it in. And system configurations, trim height of system. Those will bring up dialog boxes, which you can play with. They are generally set correctly as their default. Yes.
Can you turn off the position summary when you insert it in the little box pops up?
Control Z,
Oh, just
undo it. And if you've done too much to uncontrol Z it, because you just downloaded this file, just download a clean copy. That's the other reason I don't like position summaries. They're hard to get rid of. I actually usually, if there is a way to get rid of them, I have to look it up in the manual.
I erased it.
That works. So, there's actually a command to get rid of them as well. And you all know that if you go to the help, it brings up the manual, right? Okay. So, Sage has said, sagely, sorry, I'm making a joke on your name. This pipe is a different length. I want this pipe to be longer, 35 feet, 11.999 inches. Oh, that's the label location, sorry. So Sage wants to change its length. Let's see how we do that. We are going to double click on it. Why are you being a jerk today? Double click on it, and now you notice I have an orange box around my screen. Okay, that orange box means I am editing something. Okay, what am I editing? Well, in this case, I'm editing the pipe. But anytime you see that, it means you are editing something. And there are times when you can go edit, you can get way sucked down into layers and layers and layers of parts of things. Okay, don't save. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit, and I see what I'm editing here.
That was my problem. I was zoomed in too much. I was like,
Yes. Okay. So I have a lighting pipe. Now that I am in my editing mode, notice I have some more information. My total pipe length is 35 feet, just shy of 36 feet. Okay. Let's say I want to make it 36 feet. Actually, I'm going to do something a little more dramatic so we can see. I'm going to make it 60 feet. Okay. And notice as I zoom out here, my pipe is now 60 feet. It's going all the way outside the building. Here is the downside of Vectorworks. It is a computer program. It does exactly what you tell it. How many of you think that Brody will allow you to drill a hole in the pack and extend a pipe 25 feet into the parking lot?
He's pretty understanding.
Boy, you don't know Brody very well. No, you will not be allowed to do that. Okay? Whole thing about piercing the exterior of the building. Vectorworks will gleefully let you do that. Okay? We're going to find lots of things Vectorworks will gleefully let us do this semester that physics will not. Okay? Or I guess a saw will do it, but okay. Also notice it extends to one side. It does not center. Sorry, that's the way lighting instruments work, or lighting positions work. So if you change the height, you will then have to, or change the length, you'll have to then drag it back and forth. Okay. I'm going to go put this back at 36 feet. Okay. But it also works the other way. I don't, maybe I don't need a 36-foot pipe. I need an 8-foot pipe. I can put in 8 feet here. I've adjusted this to 8 feet. I'm happy. That's what I wanted. Okay. I'm going to click on Exit Profile. The term up in this corner will change depending on what you're editing, but it will always be a box in the upper right-hand corner that says Exit. And in this case, I only have to click it once. If I got multiple layers into it, I would have to click it multiple times. Okay. Now it just moved my pipe, not my label. So I can zoom in here and get my diagonal slash here that's going to allow me to move it, and I can slide it over here and attach it to my pipe where I want it. Now, who remembers how these pipes were supported up there? Anyone remember?
What do you?
How the pipes that were going left to right on our screen were? They were connected to the pipes going up and down with cheese burrows. If you don't know what a cheese burrow is, it's a type of pipe clamp. And take Theater 120, you'll learn it. Okay? But that means my pipe 10, cannot do what it is doing in the picture. Because notice it does not make it all the way over to this pipe. Okay? There is a physics problem there. Who remembers the whole thing about levers and the farther out you put a weight on a lever, the stronger it is? If I hang a light right here and it's connected to right here, the pipe is going to go like this. Chunk. Okay, well, I guess your point of view is going to go like this. Chunk. Okay? That's bad. Okay? That means light falling at audience. Horrible things happen. So when you are doing this, I will be kind of picky about this. If it doesn't reach from pipe to pipe, you're going to have to make it longer. Okay? I will tell you that the pipes up there are about 10 feet anyway. So draw it in 10-foot increments and you'll be happy. Makes sense? Get it. Yep, see it?
Yeah.
It wasn't a big, I went from 8 foot to 10 foot. That wasn't a big change. 9 feet would have gotten me plenty to have a little bit of overlap on either side because they're 8 feet apart, which I happen to know because I measured them, but you can find out by just using the tape measure tool here and going click, and 7 foot 11.6, which in lighting designer world is 8 feet. Okay, because that's close. Remember in lighting, if we're within 3 inches, we're happy. Okay. So that is how I can change a pipe. Okay, let's say you are doing the show and 10 pipes is not enough. Jeff needs 14. Okay, what's Jeff going to do? Nope. Jeff's going to draw in more pipes. Let me show you the easiest way to draw in more pipes. Jeff, since I chose your name at random to pick on you, do you want a long pipe or a short pipe? A long pipe. Okay. So here's what Jeff's going to do. He's going to select the pipe he likes. I'm going to show you a bunch of ways you can do this. My instinct is to go Command C, click somewhere else on the page, and do Command V, which is copy and paste. Notice the pipe came in as named pipe 11 because Vectorworks will not let you have 2 pipes of the same name. That works too, because guess what? 9-1 is also not the same as a pipe that already exists. Depending on which version of Vectorworks you have, one version is also 9-A, but the unique pipe name is what gets to be the important trick here. Okay? And now, look, Jeff, new pipe instantly for you. Very quick. Let me show you another way to do that, because Trevor's way, while it works, is way too many keystrokes for me. It's not. That's actually what I usually do. But if I hover over this, I have my little move symbol, which is the plus sign, or I like to call it the X. And then I hold down my Option key. You'll notice that I get another little plus sign next to it. You guys see the plus sign with the plus sign? While holding my Option key down, I drag. I have just created a new pipe. Isn't that awesome? And this new pipe has all the same properties except for, obviously, location because we moved it, and the name. Because Vectorworks will not allow two pipes to have the same name for very long. And I want to just warn you in case any of you are going to try to do this because you want to prove me wrong. You can force it to do it, but I will tell you that later on in the semester when we get to doing your paperwork, it will make you very, very unhappy because it will create an error. And it will not do work for you, and then you will have to do work yourself. So, just in case anyone's like, I can force it to have the same name. Yes, you can force it. But it will make you unhappy later. Okay. Is that good? Those are my two favorite ways to create a new pipe. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of pipe 11 because I don't need pipe 11. Okay. Feel free to move these pipes around. In general, here at the Performing Arts Center, we run our pipes perfectly straight across, perfectly up and down. Okay? Is there any reason that says you have to do it that way? No. And sometimes we add pipes at a diagonal. If you saw Mousetrap last year, there was a pipe at the diagonal, not for lighting, but for scenery. Okay? Because there was a giant header floating over the stage, and it was supported from above with a pipe. How can I rotate a pipe? With other things we've been taught. Anyone think of it? I could use the rotation tool. I absolutely could use the rotation tool that we've learned about. Remember, we do that by clicking one side, clicking a straight line, and then rotating the pipe wherever we want it. Can anyone think of a way I showed you today that would allow you to rotate the pipe? Under object info. This is why I love object info, okay? Lovely, I put that pipe in and Brody says, no, you can't do that. I'm running right through an air conditioning duct. Okay, not gonna happen. Okay, fine, I will put it back to square. I come up here to my object info where my rotation is, and I can just put 0 in and it goes back to where I want it. So let's say that this little pipe 10 that we made, yeah, it's this short little pipe, but I don't need it here. What I actually need is I need it spanning this space. So I could rotate it, degrees, and then drag it to where I want it, and now I've got a pipe going there. In the black box, you can really, for the purposes of this class, you can put a pipe anywhere as long as it can be supported by the pipes that run top to bottom on the page. Does that make sense? And while I say in general, here at the Performing Arts Center, we do our pipes on a nice, neat grid. I imagine all of you who have met Brody and Michelle know why we do everything on a nice, neat grid, because Brody and Michelle like nice, neat grids. Okay? But there is no reason why you could not do a pipe at a diagonal if you need to. And if you need to, should you? Yes, you should. Okay? If you really need a pipe at a funky angle, go for it. There are a couple of places. I'm going to ask that you show me because I am going to bound you to the realities of that room. And there are some support beams and things that you can't run a pipe through. But you can get a pipe pretty darn close to anywhere you need it. Okay? Questions on that? We good? Okay. Because several of you have been asking, I'm going to go over putting a lighting instrument in today. Oh wow, I see the grins. We are not there yet, but if you want to play around with lighting instruments, you can. Okay? Don't start doing your light plot yet, especially if your color key and schematic diagrams aren't done yet, okay? This really is a process. We're going to get there, okay? But I want to show you how we put a lighting instrument in so that you can, yes?
There's a line on it in the wire.
It's green. Hold on, let me come look at it. That is your orientation of your grid. So imagine you are in a math class. Are you in
My
grad?
math teacher.
Do you do graphing of formula? Okay, so that is your x and y axis.
Oh, so the red one's the X.
Yes.
The green one's the Y.
And the blue one is the z, but you can't see the blue one in that view because it's pointing straight at your face. So yes, they are permanently there. And if they annoy you, what you can do is origin. Go to Tools, Origin, User Origin, click that, and the next place you click, we'll put it there, and you can just put it someplace that's out of your way. But yes, you have noticed that, and yeah, it's just there because it's a grid system. Yes.
I zoomed in and zoomed out and lost the picture.
Okay.
Command 0.
Does that work? Nope. Do this. So look up at the screen. This is your fit to objects. Click that. Whoops, actually click it. And that is always your help, I'm lost. And remember that will fit to objects, so if I have a pipe selected, it will zoom into that pipe. So if it's not helping, click on white space and then click again, because it may mean that you're zoomed in on a point that it's helpfully selected for you. Remember, Vectorworks wants to be your friend and wants to help. Sometimes it's not good at it. Okay, so let's talk about putting an instrument in. Okay, we're not there yet, but for those of you that you absolutely must put an instrument on this pipe today or on this drawing today to be happy, Sage. Since you've been asking for weeks, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to close this so we can show you how to get open. Window, palettes, tool sets. Your tool set should look like this. If you do not have a little Fresnel in this lower left-hand corner, is there anyone who does not? Right here, I'll move it closer to the center of the screen. Right here. Anyone who does not have a Fresnel there? Okay, I'm going to show you just in case you don't have a Fresnel there. You should. But if you do not, you are going to go to, I'm going to go, workspaces. I'll go to Tools, Workspaces, and you will have a drop-down menu there. And Spotlight is the one you want to be on. In theory, it's what it should have downloaded you into anyway. And it should be what all the ones in this room are set up on. But in the event you do not have a little Fresnel in the left-hand corner, I'm going to go pretend I am landscape architect. And you will see that I now have plants in the corner instead of a Fresnel. That's very sad. And yes, I have to look that up where that command is because I never leave Spotlight. We want Spotlight. That is the one for theater people. Okay. Again, you should be there already because you should have a little Fresnel in the upper left-hand corner of the blocks in the lower left-hand corner of the palette. A little confusing way. Okay. So we're all there, and go ahead and click on that Fresnel. Okay. And it says lighting. That is our lighting tool sets. Okay. These are the basic tools that a lighting designer is going to need. Okay. It allows you to put in a hanging position from scratch. There's a couple more steps to that. For the purposes of this, go ahead and copy one. If you are desperate to know how to do it, what should you do? And click the button and try it. Okay? It's a computer program. You're not going to break anything. If you break the file, what are you going to do? Download a fresh copy of it. You're fine. Okay? I'm going to remind you that our advisory board says that they really want people who will learn how to just click the button and figure it out. Okay? But we are going to do a lighting instrument. Okay? So we want to, lighting instrument tool is going to insert a lighting instrument. We're going to click there, and now we're going to see up here, okay, fine. It says insert instrument symbol, select an instrument symbol. That is going to bring us to a drop-down menu. Click on that, okay? There are some lights in here, okay? And chairs. What I want to remind you is Vectorworks is a computer program. It will do what you tell it. If you click on a chair and try to put it in as a lighting instrument, Vectorworks is suddenly going to think that that chair lights up. Okay? Vectorworks, wonderful program, no logic. Okay? So, just because Vectorworks lets you insert a chair as a lighting instrument does not make the chair light up. Sage is putting in chairs, aren't you? Okay, so let's go ahead and select a lighting instrument. Okay? How about a PAR? An Altman PAR 64. Okay, I'm going to hit select. Yes.
I don't have that.
Did you click this drop down menu?
Yeah, and it took me to pipe, projector, sofa.
Scroll up and down. You want to be in open files, imaginary invalid.
Oh, got it.
Okay. You've got some basic things in there. I'm going to show you where more lights are in a moment. Okay, but let's just select an Altman 64. I'm going to select that. I am going to get my mouse really close to a pipe, and notice I got close and my snaps were on and went, oh, you want to be on the pipe. Because Vectorworks is smart enough to know that lights are typically hung on pipes. Isn't that wonderful? First click, it inserts it. Second click is going to set my rotation. And when I go to my object info, notice that it now says lighting device. Tells me where it is. Tells me its position, and tells me it's an Altman 64. It's on pipe 8. Oh my gosh, it filled that in for us. Isn't that amazing? It tells us what its frame size is. Vectorworks is often correct on this. It tells us what its field angles and beam angles are. Everyone remember field angles and beam angles from first week of school? That's how big the beam is. What I'm going to warn you about is on these Chauvet lights, they are all zooms. And Vectorworks only knows its narrowest setting. So if you want to see its wider setting on the zoom, you're going to have to type it in yourself. How can you find out what the setting is, or what its zoom distance is? And what do we call the piece of paper that has all the information on the light?
Oh,
Not that.
oh, sorry.
Spec sheet or what? Cut sheet.
It's putting it under the ground.
It's putting it on the ground?
Yeah.
Okay. Not a problem.
You have to directly attach it to the pipe.
You have to get it pretty close to the pipe. And make sure your snaps are on. Do you remember how to turn your snaps on? Window, palettes, snapping. My snaps are apparently visible and I can't find them. So I'm going to turn them off, turn them back on.
I didn't see anything pop up.
I didn't either. Where are they? Oh, there they are. They're way at the bottom. I would make sure you have the snap to object on. That will help.
It's on.
And zoom in pretty close to a pipe. Are you zoomed in pretty close?
I was. Yeah.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Click on that. And it should show you that the Z, which is our distance from the floor for that lighting instrument, is 19 foot 4 inches, because that's where the pipe is. And we can also move around to 3D and check that, oh yes, look, there is a Fresnel hanging on a pipe. Or not a Fresnel, a par. 2 pars hanging on a pipe. Questions? Yes.
The lights aren't showing up for me. They worked the first time, but now they're not showing up.
It did it again.
Oh, never mind.
Yes, mine.
You okay, Sage? Yeah. So remember, there's a difference between top and top plan. So top is what the light actually looks like from the top, which is not very interesting. Top plan is how we draw it we'll make it look like a light plot.
See, that's what mine wasn't. I was like, how come I can't see it like you're seeing it, but I see it in 3D. But
Then you're seeing it in 3D. Okay? Did that fix it, Emerson? Great. Okay? So feel free to play with this. There is a whole lot more that Vectorworks does with lighting instruments. It can turn them on. It can show us the beam. It can focus them. It can shutter them. It will put colors in. But we're not doing that today. Okay? But because several of you were like, really wanted to see this, we kind of got a head start there. Okay? Yes, Hannah?
How do you, so like if you would mount a light on the floor, how do you put it so that it's like sitting on the floor instead of like this?
Now you have reached the sad truth. Lights in Vectorworks always have the C-clamp above the light.
just gonna have to lay it down.
So what you do, so I will show you because I know you're asking because I did this for Boys Life. So I hung the light in the corner. And yes, if we go look at this in 3D, we say, we'll look at that front view. We see that my pipe is under the floor, and we all know that Brody will not let me cut a hole in the pack floor.
That's exactly what keeps happening.
Yes, okay. So you're not on a pipe.
I swear.
I'll help you get on a pipe in a moment. Okay, but for what I need to do for the show is I just said, okay, when it's hanging above the floor, it's about 16 inches up. And I typed in 16 inches. And I go, oh, that's not quite far right because this is a par and pars are tall. 24 inches. Now it's above. Okay? And it will allow all my math to work when Vectorworks does the math for me. But yes, the C-clamp is always above. It's a flaw with the program, yes.
But what about with like strip lights? Are they just gonna be upside down?
Yes. They're just going to be upside down. Take a deep breath. Feel the complaint of all lighting designers in the world who use Vectorworks. And then
So AutoCAD doesn't do that?
and AutoCAD doesn't do this at all. So yeah. And then be relieved about what Vectorworks will do for you that AutoCAD won't. AutoCAD will let you put the symbol in upside down. But it won't do any of the math for you. So it's no fun. Okay, any other questions? I'm going to come help you in a second. Okay. You guys got 2 more minutes. Play, have fun, or pack up and get out of here.
So what's the best?
Okay.
Like right.
You got to be in plan view. So Command 5. Okay. Now put your lighting instrument in. Okay. And now move around to 3D and see if you're on the pipe. You're on the pipe. Okay. You have to be in plan view for insert instrument to work the way you want it to. I'm not going to say correctly because it actually works. It was doing exactly what it's programmed to do there. But for what you're trying to do, you need to be in top plan view. Okay? Okay? You guys can play for another 10 minutes if you want, or you can get out of here. I have paperwork to fill out. Your first year promise. Just so you know, normally, if you can let me know the class before, so I can have your grade calculated and stuff. But if you know when you're getting these, and congratulations on being on first year promise.
There's just an army of chairs above it. Hey Chris, why are chairs under lights?